welcome to today's series where we are going to be playing in my backyard while we wait for a cyclone to come. So it doesn't matter where you are, you don't have to be in a studio, and hopefully you enjoy doing these at home anyway. We're going to start lying on our back. So just settling into your mat surface, just get your body to wriggle around a little bit. So just finding its most comfortable position where you are. And then extend the arms all the way up and over behind you for a nice long length through fingertips down to waist, and then bringing the arms back down again. We'll repeat that, taking the arms over, stretching them above you, just being mindful to not overly arch in your back as you do that, and just to let the ribs naturally move in a little bit of a lifted angle as your arms travel back, and then they return their angle as your arms go down. We're going to move on, sending the arms all the way over, and then just bend the elbows, pulling them down to your side, and then stretching overhead again. So as we pull down, I think of this like making a W shape with the two elbow tips facing down towards the feet, and then stretching over. And then one more time, pull into the W, and then stretch over. Bring the arms back up towards the ceiling height, holding here, and then bend the elbows down towards the ground surface next to you. So same sort of movement, but obviously not creating the W now. Now it's like a capital E lying on its side. And if you don't get that image, it's totally fine. Just keeping your elbows on the ground, fingers facing up towards the ceiling. Last one is we pull the elbows down and hold them in this position. We're going to rotate the arms backward, getting as low to the ground as you can while you still keep everything nice and settled, and then going in the opposite direction. So for some of you, it'll be easier to go one way versus the other. And then just make sure that as you're trying to get to those ranges, you're not forcing your body and lifting a shoulder up to get your hand down, or tipping your wrists back to try and get to the floor. We want to imagine that we've got a straight line from fingertip all the way down towards your elbow with no bending action, just getting that spinning through the arm bones. And then returning the fingertips back up to the ceiling, raise the arms high, turn the palms to face in, and then widen the arms open to hover just off the mat, and then coming back again. And again, widen, open, and narrow in. And then just one more time as we create this big expanse over the front of the chest, and then bringing it all the way in. Lowering your arms down for a moment. Bring your feet in a little closer as we get ready for a bridge series. So rolling through the pelvis, peeling the spine up into the air. And then just find that settled position through back and shoulders, feeling light through your hips up and grounded through your feet down. And then rolling the spine back towards the floor. Now, you know your body better than I do, so if you know that rolling through a bridge is not good for you, then you're just going to pick the hips up into a flat bridge orientation. Same strength through muscles, so don't worry about, losing strength on that. You just have to support what your spine is enjoying or not enjoying. And one more time, just like this, as we raise our hips up, so really trying to feel opening through the fronts of the thighs all the way out past your knees, and then back towards the mat. You're going to bring your feet and your knees closer together, so ideally they'll be touching, and then we're going to raise the hips back up again. So we've narrowed our stance so that we can now do some fun things, like stretch a right leg out in front of you. So can your thighs still stay even here? We're going to stretch our leg up for the ceiling, keeping the leg as long as possible, and then lower it down just in line with that left thigh again. And again, raising the leg up, and then lowering the leg down. So we've got 3 more to go as we reach high, and then return back, and 2. And then last time, bringing the leg up. Hold the leg up. From here, we're going to do little pulses to the ceiling, pushing your foot up high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bringing it back down. Lower the leg in line with the left leg. Fold the knee, place the right foot on the floor, and push those hips up a little higher, because it will drop, I know. Trust me. And then from here, we're going to send that left leg out. So find your structure first. Nice long reach through the heel, raising the leg towards the ceiling, and then lowering it back down in line with the thigh, and lifting it up, staying very steady on the support leg. And this is 3. Trying not to let your hip drop down on the left side. 4. feeling the whole time like there was an imaginary surface holding your hip up. 5, hold here, and we're pulsing up. And 2, 3, 4, and one last one, 5. Bring the leg back. Always finish with the same intensity that you began with, and then roll or lower the spine back towards the mat. Very nice. We're going to send the knees open to the side. Just move your feet a little further away. It's not pulling the knees or the feet right up towards you. And then from here, we're going to send those arms all the way back and overhead. Breathing out as you curl your head and shoulders forward. I want you to feel like you're squeezing your feet together. So big toes, baby toes, and heel. And then lowering yourself back down. And then repeating, exhale, curling yourself up, peeling the upper body away from the floor, really reaching the arms out and away so you haven't dropped your arms down on towards your legs. And then returning back towards the mat. We've got one more just like that as you curl yourself up, pause, and then lowering yourself down. This next one, no lie, is a little bit of a challenge. So we're going to try and get you all the way up. And if you can't, then you just stay with the version we did before. So we roll all the way through, squeeze those legs together as you come all the way up into your sitting position. And then rolling yourself down nice and smoothly, imprint your lower back, feel the arms reach up and overhead. So when we take our knees out to the side, you've got 2 more by the way, and when you take your knees out to the side, what you do is you eliminate that feeling of trying to grip only through the fronts of the hips. There are lots of muscles that help us bring our body up away from the floor, and we don't have to always just use the fronts of the thighs. Of course they're going to be used, but there are other ways of getting up as well. Squeezing through and then coming up. Now, if you weren't already up, please come up into sitting, keeping your legs at this position. We'll just move those feet away so you've got more of a diamond shape through your legs. We're going to send the arms all the way back behind the back of the head. Elbows are nice and forward in front of you, so you're not bringing your elbows back behind. From here, we're going to take a twist to the right, so wrapping your body around. Feel those feet staying together and then coming through center and then wrap towards the left. Now, as we do this, you want to make sure that there's no extra sort of moving of your pelvis. Twist to the right and back to middle and twist towards the left and back to middle. We got that one more time each side, just getting a gentle movement in the upper spine. So a lot of people, when they twist, they want to twist from their waist down, but we really want to feel like we can twist from our head up. So from here, we're going to go into elbows pulling towards each other, nodding the head down towards your gap between your 2 legs, and then rolling yourself up and aiming your chest bone more up and forward. And then again, elbows draw in, head nods down, getting a stretch in your upper back space, and then unwinding and opening that chest towards the ceiling. One more time as we pull the elbows down, lengthen the back of the neck, get the stretch through the sides of the spine, and then again, opening the chest, lifting up. From here, we're going to do a twist again. So we'll go to the right side, and then from here, we're going to drop down into the center, and then coming all the way up, and then twist over to the left, and then drop the elbow into the center, and then coming up, and again, wrap to the right, and drop and lower. And send it high and then twist to the left and scoop. So we've got one more to go to each direction. Just getting a little playful through your upper back movements. Remember, the upper back is a space that can be quite stiff and tight for most people. It's a very protective area of our body. You know, it holds our vital organs of lungs and heart in the rib cage area, so sometimes it can feel a little stuck through there. Let's bring your knees up and send your arms back. You can turn your palms to face backward, you can turn them to face side, or you can turn them to face inward. Inward is probably the most challenging for most people. So we're going to move the hands just wider than the hip line, and then keep the knees bent for now. Start with a little elbow bend, and then we're going to press through those elbows, press through the feet, and lift your pelvis up away from the floor. So we get a nice stretch coming down through the arms, maybe through the chest if your hands are the other way, and then lowering yourself back down again. And again, push from 3 points, the heel of the hand, the heel of the feet, and then the hips just hover up into the air. So the 3 H's, hands, heels, and hips, and then bringing your body down. So one more just like that, just getting a little bit of motion. Again, just combining our bridging action, all the arm work we've been preparing with, and then resting down. We're going to take that into a little bit more advanced. So we're going to stretch one leg out away from you. Pull the other leg in closer as you raise your hip up. So I've got my right leg stretched out. Hold here. We're going for 5 as you lift and lower the leg. Remember, we did this earlier in our bridge series. So you can see it building upon itself. 2 more to go. Last one, and then lower yourself all the way back down toward the floor. Let's switch our 2 sides over. And then again, we're going to press the hips up towards the ceiling. Maintain your body height, and then just do the ease of the floating of the leg for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and then returning yourself back down. Now, you won't believe it, but we've got 1 more round to go. We're not going to do the floating of the leg. We're just going to lift the pelvis up with both legs pressed out and away from you. Straight legs. Really feel like you're standing on the edge of the wall in front of you. And when you're ready, hover those hips up into the air. Nice long plank position through your body, and then bring yourself back down again. And then again, lifting the hips up. Feel strong through the upper body, through the middle body, and through those feet. And down we go. Watch that you don't roll your feet out. You want to feel in the center of the heels as we go up for our last one. Push the floor away. Lift, hold, and return yourself all the way down. Great work. Let's come into cross-legged position, whatever feels comfortable for you. So remember, you can always prop things up underneath you if you need to. Let's send one arm down towards the floor and have a nice big stretch over to that side. And then coming back up. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. So kind of like the wind's blowing the trees in the background, this is how you want to feel in your spine, just sort of free to move the foliage on the top part of the body while the trunk and the roots stay grounded underneath. Oh, we've got 1 more to go on each side, just like this, nice and simple motion. And whenever you sit in a cross-legged position, you will sit in your most comfortable place. So then I'm going to get you to be a little uncomfortable and get you to switch over. So notice what happens as soon as you change that leg position. You might feel awkward in your sitting position. You might have to readjust different parts of you. We're going to do a similar movement. So you're going to go over to the side and hold your shape here. Now we're going to rotate the trunk towards the floor. Keep the arm in line with the ear and reaching away from you. And then back to the side and coming up. Other side goes, and again over, and then just that small rotation through our upper body. We're not doing the full thread the needle today. And to the side and up. So sometimes moving less is moving more. So we want to do this with really good concentration, focusing on your form, through your shoulders, through your body. Can you still remember to do your breathing? There's no sort of set way of breathing, just making the breath work for your movement. We have 1 more to go to each side as we enjoy this last little stretch and rotation through the spine before we end up in our next move. And then over and twist. All right, so from here we're just going to make our way into a lying down position on your tummy. And remember to be as comfortable as you need to. We're going to send the arms all the way back behind you, palms to face up. So starting with a nice long neck position, we're going to reach the front of the head and chest up, peeling the chest bone away from the floor, floating the arms up. Try keep your toes touching down and then lowering your body back towards the mat. And again, just having a nice big yawn through the front of the body, a nice big stretch through the arms. So even though they're lifting up, they're still energized and reaching down towards your feet. And then returning yourself towards the mat. And then last time like that, just a nice lift through the chest. Feel the tone at the back of the arms, at the back of the spine, and then returning yourself back towards flow. We're going to include the next one just slightly differently. Turn your palms to face down. Keep your head just off of the mat. Keep your arms down. Keep your trunk down. And then just hover the 2 legs up into the air, reaching them all the way back behind and then lowering them back again to the ground. And then we'll do that 2 more times as we feel the legs floating up, feeling a narrowing of your sit bones to support the weight of the legs. And then to the mat we go. Last one with just the legs as we take it all the way up, really feeling like you can clear your kneecap and a little bit of your thigh away from the mat surface. All right, time to combine it all. Turn those palms to face up to the ceiling again. So as we come up, we lead with the head. We lead with the chest, we lead with the legs, and then finally the arms are going to float up. So everything is lifted up into the air, and then everything comes back down. And again, only 2 more as we lift through the front body, stretching your front spine, lengthening through the limbs and returning. Don't be in a hurry to do these movements. They feel fantastic, especially when you're at the top and you're like, wow, there's so much going on for me right now. So much strength, so much support. And then back towards the mat we go. Send your hands underneath your shoulders and pick yourself up into a kneeling position. So for our last moves, being on hands and knees, remember to set yourself up with shoulders above wrists and hips above knees. Your knees are slightly apart so that you're in line with your hip joints and not all the way through to the center again. From here, let's go into the seemingly impossible. We're going to extend your right leg back and your right arm in front. So in order to do that, you've got to have weight into the left side. So we're here for just a little bit of time so that you can really feel the focus of the movement. And then let's bring it all the way back down again. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So we send the left leg out and the left arm forward. So it's important to feel like you're rising out of your right arm here and not sinking down into the floor, but really beautifully lifted, reaching those limbs like we just did in the last exercise. And then bringing it back to the ground. We have one more just like this to each side. You just focus on all the things that are holding you up. So can you feel your hip on the left, the shoulder on the left, and then coming back down? Those are the easy things to feel. And then as you go to the next side, can you feel more of the tone around the center of your body, the strength around the back of your body? And then returning. All right, so we're going to add on to the movement. It's a fun movement, I promise. As we go all the way out, you're going to keep your front arm in front of you. You're going to bend your right knee, if that's the leg that's behind. And then you're going to peel the hip up and over, like your knee is going to stretch all the way over, almost like you're going to tap your toe behind you. And then lengthen that leg all the way out. And then bringing it back down. We'll do that one more time as we stretch out through the left. Hold the left arm in front of you, strong through your body. Bend the left knee. Peel the hip open. Imagine your toes starting to look and dip behind the back of the body. And then stretch it all the way out and bring it all the way in. Well done. We're going to tuck those toes under. We're going to go for a little stretch. So you're going to raise your hips towards the ceiling. Now, if you can't get straight legs, that's okay. Bent knees are still great. And we're going to just go up onto the toes and then drop a heel down for a calf stretch. Again, up on the toes and drop a heel down. So as we do this, we want to make sure that you're pedaling through your feet nice and evenly. It's, again, not a fast movement. It's a mindful movement. It's a stretch of the calves. It's a stretch of the feet. It's a length through the wrists all the way up towards the pelvis. Let's lower both feet down. Nice big stretch or whatever you can manage. And then we'll come back down. And with that little wipe of the brow, and you'll be ready to continue with your day. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon.